first go to create a new InDesign file. So you're going to go to File, New, Documents. And in this document, we're going to change to inches. We plan on being able to print this thing out. We want facing pages, and we want to adjust our margins here to make sure that if we are printing this, that we have room for a gutter for the edges. So you might want to talk to whoever you plan on printing with to see what their specifications are. Then we're going to say create, and it's going to create a document like this for us with a ton of pages pre-populated. Press Shift and click on the other one, right click, and just delete those spreads right off the bat. This way I can just make pages as I go. If I double click on the leading page here, I can go down and hit the little plus sign to create a new page and just create those pages as I need in my document. If I go back up to the first page, that's going to be my cover. Sometimes people like making a cover in a separate document. It actually makes your page numbers easier. But for me, I just want to do it all in InDesign in one foul swoop here. So I'm going to make my first page my cover in this example. I'm going to right click. I'm going to say apply parent to pages. And here I'm going to drop down and say none and say OK. So now I have no overrides on this page. But as I edit my parent pages up here, those will apply to all the pages that have the A parent. Are going to apply to all these pages that you see with an A on them. I can go and I can make even more parents. I'll show you that a little bit later in the video. All right, so what do master or parent pages do? They override everything that they're applied to. And so, for example, here in this parent, if I were to create a rectangle frame tool and drag it across the entire document here, the size 11 by 17. This is going to be the exact size of my portfolio when it's open. Now that's done in the parent here. So now I see that that frame has come in for all of my other pages. If I also wanted to make some additional layouts, like layout options, I could right click on this parent and say duplicate parent. Now I have a B parent. On this parent, I can say, all right, maybe I don't want to do like a full page spread here. Maybe what I'd rather have are some boxes with some images in them. So I'm just going to go create a few boxes here. I'm going to hold down Alt, selection tool, hold down Alt and hold down Shift to drag in line. Shift drags in line, Alt makes a copy. And so now I have 3 boxes here, which I could lay out some images. And then maybe off to the left, I'm going to want some text. So now when I go to this B parent, let's say this spread over here, I'm going to want to apply the B parent to. So apply parent to pages. We're going to drop down and say B parent, those pages. Now, if we go over to those pages, we have placeholder text. To be able to override this text here or to be able to click into these boxes, you have to hold down Control and Shift. You can go and then click into it. And now I can override this to be whatever I want it to be. Notice that my parent did not update. It's still true to what I did. My other pages are still intact. And then the ones that I go and click into with Control Shift, now I can edit those. It's important to realize that I could accidentally change the size of it, which is going to throw off the consistency in the document. However, the parent stays intact. So it's like a one-way street. Now let's say I want to go and fill in some content here on this page. What I can go and do is press Control D with this selected. And now I can go and bring in something into the image. Now notice that this image, if I go and click on it, you can see this yellow box. That's basically the same thing as going and clicking the direct selection tool and clicking in on that box wherever you have content. That content, then I can resize a few different ways. I can right click and say fitting. Where is that? Fitting. And then I can say fit this frame proportionally. And that's going to allow the frame to crop the image as it's fit. I can also do fitting content proportionally. So now it's the actual spread, but in the frame. When you have a frame, you can actually go and select it, right click on it, and you can preset how the image is going to correspond to the frame. So for example, I can go and fitting, and then I can go to frame fitting options, fit content proportionately. Okay, let's talk about page numbers now. The way I do it in my portfolio is a little bit against what people would recommend for InDesign, but I like it more for flexibility. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So if I go to my portfolio template here, let me show you the correct way to do it. So I'm going to go to my parent, and in my parent here, I'm going to go and click on a text box. I'm going to go and drag in a text box here where I'm going to want a page number. Then I'm going to go to type. I'm going to go to special characters, markers, current page number. Font I want, so maybe I'm going to say 18. Go and change the frame to be a little more squished so it's down a little lower. And what else do I want? Oh, yes. So I want this on the opposite side as well. So I'm going to hold down Alt to make a copy, hold down Shift to make it not go up or down as I drag it, to bring it right over here. Then I'm going to go and highlight that text. I'm going to make it right justified, just like that. Now, if we go to our pages, we can see that on page 2 to 3 here, it's going to say 2, it's going to say 3. So really not a problem. It's kind of nice, right? As I go and add pages, it's going to keep updating. This is great, especially if your first page here is not your cover in this document. Sometimes people recommend making a cover in a separate file. And so then that's why page 1 would be here. If I went to apply a parent page of a parent to this, you'll see that number 1 pops up here. But I plan on doing a cover page on the first and just making it all in the same document. So I actually don't want a number on my cover page. So I'm going to say that there's going to be no parent applied here, meaning that it's not going to get the page number. We can also do the same thing with our parent page to lay out text the correct way and all that other good stuff. So once again, you would go and place like text. And here you can say, this is going to be the title, something like this, title of the project. Let's go and make that bold. The pages, then we go to our a parent. This is on every page now. Maybe here I want to change it. So I'm just going to hold down Control Shift, click on it. And now I can go and double click in. I can say, all right, this is going to be like the name of my first project. Maybe my spread continues on the other pages, Control Shift, click. I can even just delete that out. This is something that I also don't do on my spreads. I prefer to just do the spread text in Photoshop, but honestly, it's probably better to do it in InDesign. And just realize you can Control Shift and you can go and edit and change the font as needed per page based on how your spreads are laying out. I'm going to go and place some spreads here. So I'm going to hit Control Shift, click, Control D, and let's go and place our first one. All right, so here you can see that I have my text brought in Photoshop. I also typically like doing, in my example here, my page numbers in InDesign and just manually doing those. But that's because I don't think my document's that big. I don't mind spending a little bit of time going and putting in the text myself for the page numbers. So I'm going to go and hold down Shift, Control C to copy, and I'm going to paste this into the other document here. And if I do Shift, Control, Alt, and then V, I can paste in place. So I just did that. Then I can go and double click in and I can say this is 01, and then I can say this one's 02. And now I don't have to worry about my page numbers coming in, right? So I can go and delete those out of my parent because I'm going to manually place my page numbers. What I like doing for my page numbers is something like this, something that reads easy in both dark or light environments. I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to go into my next one here, Control Shift click, Control D to place my image, and let me go and place my thesis. So this is a pretty dark background. So if I had black text, it's going to get hidden. So there's a setting that I like doing on my text that will help with that. Shift, Control C, copy, come into my next page. I'm going to go and paste that in place. Control Shift, Alt V. That will paste it. I'm going to update the page numbers. So let's just say this one was 03. This one was 04. Let's take a look at the properties of this. So if I go and highlight this, I go to the properties, what I do is I have a text with a fill of white and a stroke of black with 1 point. So if I have a black background or a dark background, the white pops. And then if I go to the previous page, if I have a white background, then the black kind of outlines that white. So that still pops and it reads clearly. So that's how I like doing my text, my font. Okay, let's export our portfolio as a package now. So we're going to go to File. We're going to go to Adobe PDF Presets, and we're going to say Define. Here we're going to say New. We want a new preset. In this PDF, in this preset, we can name it right here at the top. Basically, what we're going to be doing here is making sure that we're choosing spreads. I also like optimizing for fast web view, so I like checking that. Then I say OK. Then we say Done. So I'm going to go to File. I'm going to go to Package. So Package is at the bottom. And for packaging, I'm going to go and say Package. And then from here, we want to give this a name of the folder. It's going to make a folder for us, and it's going to organize all of the content that's in our InDesign file for us. PDF preset, I'm going to say My Spread. And here I can say the name of the folder that I want to save it as. Say Package. Doing some stuff for us. We're just going to say OK. And it's going to go and create all the files, copies of all the files that I had. Over here, it made a folder for me that's packaged. I double click into it. It's got all the document fonts that I've used here that I can export easily, all my links to my other Photoshop files that I've brought in for my spreads here. And then it's got the InDesign document as well that I can go and open to edit later. And it's got the PDF for me. And it's good just to always preview this to make sure that your document is exporting the way that you intended. You might also find that you need to compress it. There's different PDF tools to compress your document. So there's lots of ways to go and like save as like a reduced size PDF. Most applications have that. So that way you can get your PDF down and compressed. And when you do that, I would basically say in the file name that it's compressed. So I would do something like this. Sometimes it'll automatically save compressed at the end of the file name. But when you go and do that, I think it's a great idea to have one version that's nice and large and a good size, and another one that's compressed. So here it went from 35,000 kilobytes to 344 kilobytes. So it's going to just load much faster for an employer that might be downloading it and viewing it through the web. All right. Hope that's good for you.